Sit. Beautiful. Here, come here, come here. Hi everyone, I'm Emma, this is Emma Rosen Books. I'm going to talk to you about what I've been reading in July. So I started the month with a book called Nobody Told Me by Holly McNish. I reviewed this book, so I'll stick a link up above to when I did that. This book is a kind of a poetry book. It's a poetry and parenthood is described as, and it's diary entries where Holly talks about her experiences in parenthood and then links those with poems that she wrote at the time, and they're kind of in their raw, unfinished state, which is nice. I first heard of Holly through her poem Embarrassed, which I'll leave below. It's about breastfeeding in public. It's stunning, and this being World Breastfeeding Week, it's very appropriate. And I've seen Holly live twice as well, and she's read excerpts from the book, so I was aware of what she does anyway. This book is gorgeous. Holly seems to kind of hold a lot of the same opinions as I do about parenting and breastfeeding and so forth. It kind of just made me feel very passionate and reinforced a lot of what I thought and felt. I thought it was very, very beautiful, and I'm giving this book 5 stars. It's brilliant, and I would thoroughly recommend. The next book that I read this month was, I DNF'd it. I picked this up at a charity shop, and it's probably a bit of a mistake. I kind of fancied just something a bit light-hearted because I've been reading more serious stuff lately, and it said it was by a blogger, and I like to support that kind of thing. And I should have known really, because it's called Why Mummy Drinks, and the whole thing about like, oh, I've had my kids all day and so I need some wine, does annoy me, because I think that alcohol should be about something to drink socially and a positive thing, not I need some alcohol. I think that's a negative thing. So I should have already known that it would annoy me if it was going to take that kind of line. But actually that isn't why it annoyed me. Again, it's told in diary entries. I guess I should have maybe read her blog first to know that I found this kind of thing irritating. Basically, I found the characters very stereotypical. The main character is a mum going through her life, and she talks a lot about like the middle class snooty mums at the school gate, whose like kids go to piano and sports and this, that and the other. Well, I found that irritating because, you know what, my kids do all of those things, and I'm the chair of the PTFA, but yet I'm not like the bad mums kind of PTA person. I'm not snooty. I talk to everybody, and I don't really think any of the mums are really like that. But I thought, well, get over yourself, and you know what, we've all known people like that, and we've all known cliques like that, so get over it. So I kept reading. It had this whole bit where it talked about like, oh, you don't really see that many dads at the school gate, and none of them are good looking, and that annoyed me, because there aren't as many dads at the school gate as there are mums, but there are plenty, and I talk to them. I'm friends with lots of dads on the school run as well, so I just didn't like that either. There's a gay best friend, which I found irritating. The only good thing about that part of the narrative is that the gay man in it has a child with his husband, so I think that that's good to have like a gay marriage scenario in a book, but it's like the good-looking gay best friend. It just annoyed me. There's so many other ways to include a homosexual character, or more to the point, an LGBTQ plus character. So that had kind of all annoyed me, but I thought, I'll just keep reading it, you're being too sensitive. So then I got to a point where one of the characters is the sister-in-law of the main character. She is a hippie, and she's like crusty hippie, dirty, vegan, whatever, all the stereotypes you can think of. And then in this scene, she comes along and she opens up her top and she starts breastfeeding like an older child, like a toddler, and then she says to all the other children, oh, would you like some? And starts offering to breastfeed all of the kids. And it irritated me so much, because it's just a dangerous, stereotype to have, to be talking about breastfeeding in that way, and I just felt it had gone too far in, yes, okay, there's some humour in talking about stereotypes, because it pokes fun at things that we're familiar with, but there comes a point where I think it's cruel, maybe even dangerous, and at that point I DNF'd it. I would give that book 0 stars. I don't need to read any more to know that I hated it. Then I read the book Meg, which was a read-along with Erica from The Perks of Books. I'll link her channel below. It's brilliant. She is my sea sister. Come on, come and sit in the shade. Come on. Stay. Stay. So I reviewed this book as well, so I'll link it up above. And this book is, I wanted to read it because Erica talks about it a lot. It's her favourite book, and I was intrigued. And with the film coming up as well, basically, this book is really stupid. It's got terrible characters, an implausible plot. It's very silly, but it's enjoyable. It's a fun read. It's very readable. It's one of those so bad it's good kind of situations. On my book review, I gave it both 2 stars and 5 stars simultaneously. 2 stars for the writing, and 5 stars for how much I enjoyed it. So it's good fun, and I'm looking forward to going to see the film, and I'm glad I read it. Then finally this month, I read a book on audiobook. I finally relogged into my Overdrive account. I stopped using it because I felt I'd listened to all of the titles that I was interested in listening to, but having taken a break from it, there's a whole load of new stuff that I'm interested in reading. So this was one that was kind of on the list of like top books on there. So I thought I'd give it a go, and it was The Good Girl. And I really enjoyed it. It's told from the viewpoint of 3 characters, so it's based around a girl who's kidnapped, and the story is told by the mother, the investigator, and the guy who did the kidnapping. And it shuttles backwards and forwards between 2 time periods as well, before the incident and after. And I like the way that certain events are revealed. I found it suspenseful. I found that I really wanted to know what happened next because of the way it was written, so I liked that. I saw some of the twists coming, but not all of them. I don't think it's like a groundbreaking thriller, but it was good, you know. Yeah, you know, I enjoyed it. Despite the fact that the guy reading the part of the inspector sounded like Columbo, which was a bit distracting. Some of the characters are actually pretty stereotypical. Like, you know, the mean dad who doesn't give his children enough attention, but I kind of didn't find that too bad. But the one thing I did take issue with is that there are the way that black people are portrayed in the book, the way that they're described and talked about, and that there aren't many instances of it in the book, so it's kind of why it didn't annoy me more. But it does kind of shock you and go, oh, did it really talk about someone like that? Just like, it was just very negative. It wasn't, I don't know that it would go as far as offensive, but yeah, for that reason I can't give this book a massively high rating. And also, like, it was okay. It wasn't like amazing or groundbreaking, but yeah, you know, it was all right. So I'm gonna say this one is 3.5 stars, because I did enjoy reading it. It's just a shame that there were things that detracted from it. Anyway, I'm going to link all my social media below, so if you'd like to know more about what I'm reading, what I'm writing, then follow those on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Like, if you would like to, leave me a comment below about what you think about these books or what you've been reading. Subscribe if you would like to for more videos about books and writing, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye! Okay, Dolly. Should we go home? All right, come on then.